Hey soul friend, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is me, Emily the Mystic. I'm so happy to be here with you today because I felt a really deep intuitive nudge to create another energy update video for you. I already created one for the month of March, but I really feel like there's even more information to add, even more that I didn't get into in my last energy update. So I want to make sure that you fully understand and know sort of cosmically, energetically what's going on out there so that you can, of course, live your best life and know that perhaps what you're navigating right now, you're not so alone in that. I hope that this video helps to validate your experiences and confirm everything that's been coming up for you, everything that's been going on, especially since the beginning of March, especially since the beginning of this year. Things are really changing and energy is really moving and there's a lot happening. And I hope that this video is just sort of a nice, gentle reminder of everything that you're going through and how there is a purpose for it. There is a reason for it, which we'll get into during the course of this video. But I hope, again, that this video really just helps you kind of sink in and anchor into your life, your path, and whatever is coming up for you. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Emily. I'm an Akashic Records expert, practitioner, and teacher, and a galactic channel. And one of my favorite things to create for you, my audience, are these energy update videos. I love tuning into the frequency of the collective energy. And then with my own discernment, as well as analyzing what's coming up for me in my own life, really sharing with you some reflections of what may also be coming up for you as well. I also, of course, check in with my one-on-one clients and people in my group mentorships to see what's coming up for them. And really, it's so fascinating to me that the themes are really, we're all kind of going through the same thing at the same time. And so I hope, again, that this video is that piece of confirmation and that validation that you need for whatever's going on in your own life. But of course, as with all channeled information, take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. Now, regardless of if this is your first video or not, I do want to remind you to come over and follow me on my Instagram. I'm also Emily the Mystic there. The reason is because I share more frequent energy updates, including at least a weekly energy update that I share on my feed. That's a super quick reel with just quick information for you to understand what's kind of going on and the energy of the week ahead. I also share very frequent video updates on my stories. Lots of information. There's so much more there. So if you've been following me on YouTube for a while and you're like, I want more Emily, one video a week isn't enough, I want more, come follow me on Instagram. There's so much more there. And also make sure to check out the podcast. Of course, you can see some of my podcast past episodes here on YouTube, but if you don't like the format of having to watch the video and have that up on your phone, of course, you can also listen to my podcast on all major podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, all of whatever, wherever you find your podcasts, you can search Emily the Mystic and you will find it. And there's lots of jam-packed information in there. I will, of course, be doing an April energy update in a couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for that. It will be featured both here on YouTube and on my podcast as well. And also, too, I wanted to say a quick update, which is that I am getting ready behind the scenes to reopen access to two of my most requested mentorships, my light language mentorship and my Akashic Records certification program. I have had hundreds of you sign up for the Akashic Records certification waitlist and are patiently waiting for the day when I open the doors to that incredible mentorship again. So if you are thinking about, or your gifts are starting to open up more and you feel like you need a modality to get trained on how to use your psychic and intuitive gifts and you don't know what to do with them, definitely check out the Akashic Records certification. It's incredible, you guys. Every single training, every single week is like 2 to 3 hours long. It is so in-depth. I go into so many in-depth techniques for accessing your own records, the records of others, so many in-depth healing techniques that literally Some people teach in separate certifications. I teach all of it in one incredible certification: healing the inner child, tapping into your past lives, connecting with your galactic guides. I teach all of it in one certification, and it's so amazing. So you definitely want to get on the wait list for it if you're thinking about it, because it will change your life and your connection to your intuitive gifts, I promise you. So I will leave the link for that below. We're going to start the next round at the end of May-ish time frame. So again, enrollment will be starting for that soon. And then if you've been thinking about or have been curious about light language and using your intuitive gifts to open up light language as a healing modality for yourself and others, you also are going to want to get on the wait list for my light language mentorship. It's fully channeled. It's amazing. You get so many benefits, so many energetic upgrades and activations from that mentorship. I just finished teaching it a couple weeks ago, and the clients had incredible transformations. So I would love for you to get yourself on the wait list for that mentorship as well. So those are just some quick business updates. And if neither of those are financially in your wheelhouse right now, I get it. I also would love for you to join my membership. It is a monthly $44 commitment, but there is so much incredible content in there, you guys, that's not here on YouTube. So many workshops, so many live trainings, so many different energy healing calls that you can still participate in, even if you're watching the recording. And meditations, there's so much great stuff in there. We do monthly guest workshops, and I host a monthly call where you get live access to me. So come on, you gotta join the membership. It's amazing. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into this sort of mid-March energy update. As I'm filming this video, it is March 18th, and it's 4:48 p.m., which is one of my angel numbers, and it's, according to my computer, 48 degrees outside, so that's freaking wild. So anyway, I feel super aligned with filming this video right now, and really just hope that this helps you in whatever way you need in your own life. So this video will be releasing on my channel on March 21st. So this is I'm filming it very, very close to the release date. So this energy update is very much live and in the moment. So this week, it's Monday as I'm filming this, Tuesday, March 19th, the sun is moving into the astrological sign of Aries. And with that, we are also going through the Spring Equinox. Or if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you're going to be going through the Fall Equinox. Regardless, it is a massive change and a massive energetic shift, because we are starting the new wheel of the year. The new astrological year begins Tuesday, March 19th. That's important because when the sun shifts into Aries, when we shift into the beginning of the astrological wheel, it's almost like we get that new year feeling all over again. I know we sort of just started this year at the beginning of January in 2024. Maybe you feel like you have a grasp on this year. I personally don't, but if you feel like me and you don't feel like you have a grasp on this year because it's going so freaking fast, and you feel like, whoa, I'm so ungrounded, things are just happening so quickly. Again, we're entering into this new astrological year. We're going to continue to really ground into this fresh new energy, and we're going to see a lot changing and shifting as we enter into this new astrological year. It's truly like almost, from what I'm being shown, it's going to bring about a big paradigm shift for a lot of us. And by paradigm shift, I mean the version of you who perhaps is ending the astrological year at the end of next year, so at the beginning of 2025, is going to be a totally different version of you than the person who's watching this video right now. Maybe so far different that maybe you're living in a totally new location, or you have a totally new job, or things have just panned out in some totally different directions. That's a good thing. Again, paradigm shift. We're really entering into a whole new way of being, a whole new vibrational state. It's a massive energetic shift, you guys. It's a vibrational shift. And the reason why that's so important for you to know is because you are energetically shifting and changing every single day. No matter what sort of spiritual work you're doing or not doing, you are still energetically going through a shift because your soul signed up for this incarnation, for this lifetime. And things energetically, we're being impacted by them all the time planetarily. We're impacted by the moon and the stars and all the planets and the way they align with Earth. And so energetically, you're going to be experiencing and feeling things in your body in a whole different way. And so what's happening is the vibration of the planet is rising. And as the vibration of the planet rises, so too must your individual unique vibration. And so because of that, it's going to bring about a lot of new things, new change, et cetera, for you in your life. So if you felt sort of like, I've been at this big pause, or I'm at this crossroads and I don't know where to go next, and things aren't moving and I'm not sure, what's up from down, you're going to get clarity around that very soon. But it is going to take a little bit of time because we're going through this shift into this new astrological year. So be patient with it. Be patient with yourself. I'm going to talk about some of the physical symptoms and things and signs that you may notice in your body and that you may start to notice reflected in your external reality as we go through this in just a moment. But before we get there, I want to share a couple of the other planetary shifts that are happening. I am not an astrologer, by the way, but I pay attention to astrology because the planetary alignments really impact the vibration of the planet. And so it's important for us to talk about them because they're going to play a role in your life in some way. So, as we are moving into Aries season, this Aries energy is charged. It is fresh. It may feel like things again start to speed up. They start to move more quickly. You again start to get clarity on things in your life that you felt like you had come to an impasse or a stalemate on. It's going to be becoming more clear. And what is also happening is that we are moving into eclipse season. Again, feel like we just wrapped up eclipse season in the fall, but of course it happens twice a year. So here we are moving into the spring eclipse season. This eclipse season, you guys, is fast and dirty. Seriously, like so quick, so dirty. We are going to be in and out. But the person here, again, watching this video on March 21st or whenever you're watching this is not going to be the same person after the second eclipse in the middle of April. You're going to go through some massive shifts and changes. And it's going to be good, but it could also feel like a lot. So we have the first eclipse, which is happening in the sign of Libra on Monday, March 25th. And then we have a solar eclipse, which is happening on April 8th in the sign of Aries. So we have these really potent eclipses happening, boom, boom, right after another. March 25th, April 8th. That's within a couple of weeks of each other. One is a full moon lunar eclipse. The other is a solar eclipse. So they are both going to really, again, usher in a whole new paradigm for all of us as a collective and for you individually. So you may start to see this energy get reflected both at a collective level and also internally at a personal level too. And in addition to eclipse season, we also, unfortunately, have Mercury retrograde happening again as Mercury goes retrograde on April 1st. Again, this is why I felt so called to film this update video, because I feel really called to share with you guys that we have a good week and a half, about 2 weeks-ish, little less than 2 weeks of solid energy to do things and get things done. Now is not the time to procrastinate or postpone the things that you're working on, to put off the business launch or, put off sending in the job application or whatever it is. It is time to really hunker down and get going on the things that you're working on. Why? Because when Mercury goes retrograde and then we have this solar eclipse, which guess what? They've been talking about this solar eclipse in the media more than they ever have in any other eclipse season, because apparently the solar eclipse that's happening on April 8th, this one is happening and it is in direct relation to the United States. Of course it is. So there are places here in the United States where there's supposed to be like a 99% viewing ability where you can actually see the eclipse happening in the sky at the exact moment in time that it happens, which is a little intense. And so this eclipse that's happening on April 8th is going to, and from what I can gather energetically, is going to be a big one. There's going to be something happening, either collectively or maybe in your personal life. And I'm not saying this to scare you, because this is all needed change. It's change that your soul signed up for. It's good stuff. There's going to be a vibrational shift that comes out of this that's going to help you get to where you want to go. So I don't want you to have any fear about it, but also there's going to be some major purging that happens on the way to get there. And that may require rest, that may require slowing down, that may require doing the inner work, that may require getting more sleep than normal, changing up your habits, your diet, your exercise, whatever it is. I'll give you some tips and tricks at the end, of course. But there are going to need to be some things that help shift in order for us to really move through this time. So it could feel a little bit intense, and I wanted this video to get into your lap ahead of the beginning of April so that you know a little bit of what to expect, because April is going to be a big month. April's going to be a big month. I don't know what's happening, but I just know that there's a lot that's changing, a lot that's shifting, and in order to gear up for it, we need to use the next couple of weeks until, Mercury retrograde begins, at least up until that eclipse on April 8th, to really hone in on staying healthy, helping ourselves clear and release whatever we need to, getting you in a good place so that you feel like you are on track with maybe accomplishing some projects or getting things done that you need to, so that perhaps the week of April 8th, you can slow down a little bit. You can relax a little bit. I potentially haven't fully decided yet, I may take a couple of days off that week from seeing clients, because I really just feel energetically like it may be a good time to go inwards and slow down and focus on me and self-care. So take that with a grain of salt. Tune into that second week of April for yourself. See how your body is feeling about it. Ask yourself intuitively, is there anything that I can do to maybe lighten the to-do list, or maybe reschedule a couple meetings or a couple client calls, or maybe I felt like I was going to plan a trip that week. Maybe I want to move my travel a little bit if possible. Life, of course, can't fully ever slow down, but do what you can to at least kind of bolster yourself up and be productive in the next couple of weeks to give yourself that space if needed during that middle point of April. So with that in mind, the other thing that I really feel called to say is to be on the lookout during this first eclipse that's happening on March 25th, and also with this new astrological year in Libra, with this, new astrological year in Aries that's beginning on March 20th, to be very aware that you may need to start to clear some things out and let some things go from your life, from your system. So what can that look like? I'm going to start to talk about this sort of cosmic purging that we're going through, and how you may start to feel that in your body, and how that may start getting reflected in your life externally. So it is a cosmic rebalancing. It's an energetic rebalancing. It's an energetic purging. And how that can appear for you is you may feel more sensitive. Your energy may feel more heightened and sensitive than normal. I know for me, I'm feeling so much more sensitive than I used to in all areas of life. So when I'm out in public, when I'm in big groups, when I'm in busy restaurants, when I'm seeing a movie, whatever I'm watching on TV, music that I listen to, I can tell very quickly whether I like it or not. And I may have, and here's the thing, for those of us who have had anxiety for a lot of our life, we feel like our anxiety is the enemy. It's this external thing that our body feels And, it's attacking us, and it's something that is an unhelpful thing that we have. Your anxiety is actually, I want to reframe that for you, because sometimes your anxiety can actually point the way to things vibrationally that are not a good match for you, such as TV shows that you're watching when you're feeling anxious and you're watching them. Guess what? Probably not a good TV show for you to be watching. Or music that you're listening to, or that someone in the household is listening to, and you're just like, I have to get away from this. I have to be in a different room. You're not crazy. Vibrationally, you're becoming more sensitive, and that can feel really overwhelming to the body and the nervous system, because things that you used to tolerate, you may not be able to tolerate anymore. One really crazy thing that happened for me this year was I started having these mystery rash symptoms in the beginning of February, end of January, and I had a rash over half of my body. It was the weirdest thing. I was so uncomfortable. I was so itchy, and I have become so sensitive to certain skin products and certain foods that I just can't tolerate them anymore. So I have to be fragrance free now, unfortunately, which I don't love. And I am also sort of limiting some certain food groups for me that tend to drive digestive issues and the skin issues. And now that I know that I've have this heightened energetic sensitivity, perhaps I may get to introduce those things later, but at least for now, I know I'm going to be super sensitive. And so I need to do my best to take care of me and my body and not allow in the things that can vibrationally bring anxiety or bring emotions or feelings that aren't good or that aren't helpful. So it's so important right now that you follow your intuition, especially if you have a history of people pleasing, because I am that way too. So I am not, you are not alone in that. I get it. If you have a history of people pleasing, you may, let's say, encounter a new person in your life, a friend, maybe a potential business partnership, collaborator, coworker, someone that you go on a first date with. You meet that person for the first time, and you immediately, I guarantee you, had some sort of energetic response to them, good or bad. And for many of us who are people pleasers, we tend to overlook that initial red flag, that initial negative response, and not, what am I trying to say here? We can overlook that negative response that we had and convince ourselves out of it, basically self-gaslight, and convince ourselves like, this person is a good person, they're great on paper, they're a great fit on paper, they're going to be a great business collaborator, or they're going to be a great friend because they're really good friends with so-and-so. And we convince ourselves and we tell ourselves all these stories, and we create a narrative that this person is a good fit for us, when even though in the first 15 minutes of meeting them, we knew that something was not right. And we go against that intuitive gut feeling. Again, because of maybe a past history of people pleasing or wanting to say yes to everything and yes to everybody. But the more sensitive you get, the more you energetically open up, it's going to be harder for you to be around people like that aren't a good energetic match for you. So this could bring about a shift in some of your relationships, a shift in some of your friendships, a shift in some of your collaborations, partnerships, coworkers, because now you have maybe gone through a certain cycle with them. Maybe you've learned something, maybe you created something together at some point, but your energy may be shifting so much that they're not a vibrational match for you anymore. You may have initially recognized it a few months ago or years ago, and maybe you talked yourself out of it. Well, guess what? Now it's time they actually need to go. We need to say goodbye. We need to move on from some of those things that aren't a good match. So you will definitely be shown that pretty clearly. If there's anything coming to your mind for you right now of like, I wonder if she's talking about this for me. Probably yes. I would say probably yes. Go with your gut instinct on this one. What I like to do is before I fall asleep at night, I like to ask my guides, please clearly show me the things, people, opportunities that I need to say no to or let go of. And as I'm falling asleep, I tend to get pretty clear downloads about what that looks like for me. So that may be something that you want to try as well. Again, do it as you're drifting off to sleep, but make sure that you're doing your best to remember what comes through for you before you fall asleep so that when you wake up the next day, you can write it down, take action on it, all of that good stuff. So know that your intuition will not steer you wrong at this time. Your intuition is likely also increasing. Your psychic gifts are increasing. You're going to sense that because you'll start to have these intuitive feelings about people that you'll end up seeing are right, or you'll start to notice that things that you thought were going to come true do end up coming true, or things that you knew intuitively were not going to work out or last, they fall apart. So your intuition knows these things. You may even find your gifts opening and expanding in different ways if you are already a trained intuitive person. I know for me, recently I've actually been having a lot of past loved ones on the other side coming through, which is fascinating because I learned mediumship as my first sort of foray into the world of psychic gifts. And then my mediumship gifts kind of went away for year and a half, 2 years, as I was really focusing on the Akashic Records. And now that I am still focused on the Akashic Records, but have more energetic space, the loved ones are starting to come through for me for people again, which is so interesting. So your gifts may start to change. You may start to see your energy shifting, and also just these new vibrational connections may start to really start unfolding for you over the course of the next couple of weeks. And also, I do want to say a lot of these heightened sensitivities and feelings in your body may be something that are here to stay, at least for 2024. Some of these physical symptoms, I of course want to tell you what you want to hear and say that they're going to go away after eclipse season, but that may or may not be true. So you may just notice that your sensitivity is increasing, but here's the thing. You'll figure out how to manage it. You'll figure out what to step away from and where to best put your energy forward so that the things that are bothering you and triggering you aren't going to trigger you as much because you're not exposing yourself to them anymore. So with that in mind, you may need to just do a clear out of your house. You may need to get rid of old stuff in your house. Whenever I start to get edgy and agitated and irritated, I know it's because I need to shift the energy of my house because I work from home. So I'm here all the time. And as soon as I start getting irritated by my apartment, I need to clean the surfaces, clear the clutter. I need to redecorate or move the energy around a bit in some way that helps me feel lighter and brighter again. I tend to need to do this about every 6 weeks is what I've noticed. So this is a really great reminder for you that if you haven't cleaned your house, spring cleaning is a thing for a reason. This is a really great time of year to do it. And also what you can do is you can take a moment to go into the meditative state, and you can visualize sending and spreading white light throughout your entire house just to help clear any residual energy, especially if you've had guests over or you have people in and out of your house all the time. The sending white light everywhere can just really help to energetically cleanse your house and bring it back to a more neutral vibration. So definitely clear out your house. Again, if your body's sensitive, you may need to change the products that you're using, the foods that you're eating, the workouts that you're doing, but follow your intuition. If you're like, oh my God, I feel like I need to find a naturopathic doctor to help me with this, then set the intention to find the naturopathic doctor. It's probably because you're meant to connect with a specific person who can help you. Or if you feel energetically like your strength training workouts aren't working for you anymore and you really want to try Pilates, you keep getting drawn to content about Pilates and you're more curious about it, then sign up and take a class. Seriously, you're so much more intuitive than you think. It's just we don't tend to act on these intuitive insights that we get because we think that we're taught that they're just fluff or they're just random thoughts that are passing through. But the more that you follow the intuitive thoughts, the more that they go well, or the more lessons that you learn, you'll start to gain trust in yourself when it comes to following your intuition. So please do that. Also, a lot of you have been getting sick recently with what I like to call the ascension flu. So if you are getting a cold, a flu virus, an upper respiratory infection, a sinus infection, or even stomach issues like stomach flu, stomach bug, even food poisoning, it's all purging, it's all cleansing, it's all releasing. So for some of you, maybe the upper chakra is your heart chakra, your throat, if you're getting the upper respiratory stuff, the third eye. If you're getting headaches or you have nasal congestion, your allergies are acting up, that's all connected to the third eye. If you've got the lower stuff going on, the stomach, perhaps just needing some detoxing in your digestive area, that could be connected to your lower chakras, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, even your root as you're purging and releasing the other way. Not to be gross, but again, purging upper chakras or lower chakras, or perhaps, unfortunately for some of you, maybe even both. But again, it's good. It's a necessary, needed clean out of the system. So if your intuition is telling you to find the homeopathic doctor, the naturopathic doctor, whoever it is, in order to help you navigate the symptoms, then do it. Do it, because you wouldn't be guided to do that otherwise. So anyway, as we're going through this big energetic purge, this rebalancing, you may start to notice things shift in your life. When you're doing your own work and you're focusing on you, you start to notice how other people react to being in your orbit. It's fascinating. So the people that you know that you need to start to repel out of your orbit because they're not a vibrational match, you'll start to notice them moving away from you. You may need to have a conversation with them. You may not. Just depends on you and your situation. Or if you are noticing that a shift needs to happen in a relationship with a major family member, maybe you're doing your own inner work, your own shadow work, you may start to notice that that person responds differently to you. That's great. That's a great thing. It means what you're doing is working. And I know it can be jarring when that starts to happen because it disrupts the pattern. Our brain is trained to look for patterns. So anything that is out of pattern, that is a different response than what you're used to, may take you some time and your body some time to get used to it again, to get comfortable with it again, because it's totally out of your normal pattern. So all of this is a good thing. It is all, again, a needed clearing, a needed purging. Do what you can in the next couple of weeks. I hope you're seeing this before the beginning of April to get what you can done, at least before that April 8th eclipse. I don't feel like the March 25th eclipse is going to be as intense as the April 8th one. But of course, listen to yourself, listen to your body, do what you can. If you need to reschedule things on the calendar on March 25th and April 8th, do it. Listen to yourself, listen to your intuition. Everything will always resume after the fact. So you will always get back to the to-do list. There's always more work to do, right? There's always more to tackle, more to create. And knowing that, can you give yourself some space to rest, to ground, to get outside, no matter what happens out there, to just really be present with yourself. One practice that I will leave you with that does help me, that I need to incorporate more often, is to take a couple of minutes a day for silence. And either doing a little bit of a silent meditation where you have your eyes closed, or even just sitting in silence with your eyes open and just being present with yourself, noticing your breath, noticing your environment, just going inwards and letting go of any thoughts as they come up. That practice of mindfulness can be so helpful, so that if you do have anxiety come up with the purging, with the clearing, you will now have a skill set of, okay, I can be present with myself. I know I'm anxious, but I know that this feeling is temporary and I'm okay with that. And I know it's not going to last forever. And then you can take some deep breaths and you'll start to feel a lot better. So I hope that this helps. I hope that this mini energy update maybe gave you some clarity or helped you understand what's kind of coming up in your life. So as things move away, again, it creates energetic space for new opportunities to come in. So it's all happening for your highest and greatest good, no matter what's going on in your life. And also, if you feel like you need guidance for navigating your next chapter, whatever that looks like for you, I would, of course, love to do an Akashic Records soul guidance reading with you. We'll dive into who you are at a soul level, your cosmic and galactic connections, your purpose, all of the good things, your past lives. We'll do some energy work, and we'll leave you feeling so much lighter and brighter than when you came in. So I'll leave the link for that below as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. take it easy, but also do what you can in the next couple of weeks to get this stuff done that you need to get done, and know that it's all happening for you and for your vibration. So don't stress. I'm right there with you. All right, friend. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.